Hey yo, make sure y'all check those other Sha Sha episodes about Big. There's 2 episodes about Big being in C-74. Back in the days in Mod 8, you heard exclusive B.I.G. Brooklyn, New York, Rikers Island history. You heard that's what we about, man. That's what we about, man. We put out that real history, bro. We ain't playing no games with these dudes out here. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Make sure you check that free Sha Sha playlist for all the episodes. You heard, yo. Listen, this album right here is on SoundCloud. You heard? It's called Saint Laz and Chill. Like this joint right here, it ain't none but laid back chick joints. You heard? Cool vibe type joints. Like this one of my best albums. I put out a lot of albums, man. I was on the underground rap scene for a long time, putting out a lot of underrated fire. But check this album on SoundCloud. It's vicious. Think about this. What if your ad was right here, right now? The thousands of views you're gonna see this video having in the next day or two, those thousands and thousands of people that watch this, they could have been watching you, your Instagram, your brand, your music, your video. So holla at me if you need that real promo. I'll get you seen by thousands of people. And that's a fact.
I started getting panic attacks every time I stepped in the cell from rec. And the cell gate, whenever the gate closed behind me, I felt like I had a heart attack. At first I thought I was having a heart attack. I told Blue, and he said simply, yo, focus on your breathing. It's cage phobia. The fuck is cage phobia? He said, yo, we all get it. Some of us deal with it better than others. Just don't ever let this psych give you medication for nothing. So our people made it through this middle passage, so we can make it through anything. I had to look up what the hell the middle passage was. My closest friend is Sam, Alex McFadden. He was in Wendy's. We didn't see each other, but he worked in the laundry. So we sent kites back and forth. It was great just to know that he was alright, because the last we were together, he had Blue Trial for a body. He got like 27 to life. Randy Love was there in Wendy's too. That's Randy Jameson from Harlem. And I ain't seen him since he had Johnny and Donald and my boys from the project, husband for him on 128th Lennox. It was crazy back then, you know. That was the late 80s, and them was moving like 2 bricks a day on 1 block of crack. Crack was different then. That shit was like $12 to $15 a gram. Anyway, they both sent me food and we wrote each other back and forth through the laundry until I was transferred back to Southport. This trip to Southport Box, this shit started to really get to me. I've learned what true sensory deprivation was. The food was bland. If the light wasn't too bright, it was too dim. If it wasn't too hot, it was too cold. My whole jail had H. pylori from the water. I had an asshole next to me who just kicked my wall all day long, so I could only vibe with Blue Boys when this asshole was asleep. Blue taught me how to really get into books I read and make my mind escape jail. After reading all the books he had on strategies and war and history, we grabbed 4 books off the book carts that came around every week, and we picked any 4, no matter what they were, and we wouldn't put them down until we finished them to, expand our knowledge. And so Blue always told me, if you limit your knowledge, you limit what you can accomplish. So if you don't know much, you never achieve much. I started getting panic attacks every time I stepped in the cell from rec, and the cell gate, whenever the gate closed behind me, I felt like I had a heart attack. At first I thought I was having a heart attack. I told Blue, and he said simply, yo, focus on your breathing. It's cage phobia. The fuck is cage phobia? He said, yo, we all get it. Some of us deal with it better than others. Just don't ever let this psych give you medication for nothing. So our people made it through this middle passage, so we can make it through anything. I had to look up what the hell the middle passage was when he schooled me on that note, and I did that. So Blue Boy helped me through this box trip in more ways than one. He told me whenever I was about to mail out an angry letter, don't rip it up. It's yours, you know what I'm saying? Get it out your system first. Now write a good letter. Don't burn no bridges. I started sleeping only in the daytime because the asshole kicked my wall all night until he built up a sweat and went to sleep. Most people in Southport didn't belong in the box. They belong in mental institutions. It was spit fights every day, kickboxing matches every day. A few dudes had cuff keys, came out the cuffs and tore a hole in their enemies' faces. And this position, you know, you couldn't even block because your hands were cuffed and pinned to your body by a waist chain. So when you got cut in Southport, you got cut good. And I mean real good. Only few got away because their kickboxing game was up. Like a brother I met named Chicago. A dude came out the cuffs on him. He kicked the dude's teeth out of his mouth. They kicked him out cold. It's the first time in my life I saw a man get kicked out with a kick to the face. It was beautiful. I mean, this shit was, Bruce Lee would have been proud, you know what I'm saying? The bug out next to me made what was called a silencer, a Lubidone bottle filled with shit juice. And he made a hole in it with a staple. So when you squeezed it, a small stream of shit juice squeezed out and it hit the CEO's pants leg a little bit, just enough so that he smelled like shit all day. And we'd be in tears while the CEO sniff around all day, wondering where the hell that smell was coming from. They'd tell each other they smell like shit, argue, beef. One time, they kicked one CEO out the bubble because they stink like shit. One day, his asshole squeezed his cop though, and they picked me as the culprit. Snatched me up, put me in D-block, the boxing box, put me on the loaf diet. There was a big, hard-ass brown piece of bread with all kinds of stuff in it. I had 5 days and 2, meaning I had to loaf for 3 times a day for 5 days and 2 days for a regular meal. And it seemed like the 2 days always fell on days when they had bullshit for meals, like a cup of tuna, nasty-ass egg salad, or cold cuts, or soggy-ass ravioli. The cell lights never cut off, so the buzzing was killing me. Yo, when it was quiet, the lights sound so loud, that shit would drive me crazy. The shower was always freezing. I learned to never complain because they only make jokes and enjoy the fact that they knew they would make you suffer and make you uncomfortable. So I couldn't tell. Snitching just wasn't in me, so I had to hold the shit down. I got an extra 90 days in the box for unhygienic act when the dude squirted the cop. You know, after a month, COs was like, yo, tell me when you want the water warmed up or not, or how warm you want it. He said, I'm adjusting the water. I couldn't even understand. All the time I've been there taking the showers, never could be adjusted. The shit was cold. And then I didn't know I could tell him to adjust the water. I'm like, you mean if I ask you to adjust the temperature, you'll do it? I was shocked. He's like, yeah. Don't tell me you've been down here taking cold ass showers. Yeah. I said, yeah. I thought y'all was just being assholes. For 90 days, I was taking freezing mountain cold water showers and shit. He was like, nah, soldier, we ain't all that bad. We started small talk about how he was in service, a Marine, and being from upstate New York. It's the only job he could find, not far from where he lived. He just paid the bills. The time of D-block, I didn't know nobody at all, and didn't talk to no one either. The noise from the light in my cell was driving me crazy. Sink, dripped, that drip-drop sound, that shit drove me crazy. I counted the bricks on the wall when I ran out of books. I read every book on the book cart. Then started getting books from Lucy Parsons' Books Through Bars program that supply free books of all genres to prisoners statewide if you wrote them and asked them to. And the loaf was dry and shit was hard as hell, tasteless, but I bust that shit down every meal. I developed a sensitivity to light and had to get photo ray lenses with glasses because bright light gave me serious migraine headaches now. And doctors started giving me multivitamins because I become vitamin deficient. They took my vitals twice a week. No time because this time, until finally I was packed up and then sent back to Auburn again. And I got there during the lockdown because a dude named Nut stabbed a CO and the COs killed him. Just straight beat him to death. People said he been dead, but they just kept beating him. They rammed his head on the floor so much, the whole back of his head was missing, or just caved in. One of his eyeballs hung down his cheek from a bloody vein out the socket. Like Kevin Clark was here in C-Block. He got wrongdoing ace over 100 years from when they allegedly shot from Harlem and his loved ones. Later, they made a film about that shit, and it was full of lies. Kevin Clark was a rat, but people got tired of getting at him, and the man was dangerous. I took an industry job, and I read the paperwork that was circulating in jail because Ronald Bolden, and got a reversal on the case. Him and his co-defendant. And when they came to court, testified against him again and got them 112 life again. So like this dude was like a double rat. He said to back up north with over 100 years again. But after 3 months working in the industry, making furniture for office buildings, I was packed up and sent to Cayuga. That was a medium correctional facility, like not far from there, like damn near across the street from all from. My daughter's mother came to see me. It was a beautiful visit, but I told her how who was her sister's baby father, also known as ran on us in the ride. We had over, and he didn't literally run. He just didn't come outside to the yard when it was time to put on for a month until all the smoke cleared and damn near everybody left. Real coward shit. Told her mom, my baby mother's mother, Barbara Ann, that I almost got him killed. I was like, hey, this is bitch, this nigga. And half the beef was over him because some of the money was his that this nigga Bruce was supposed to have bought some shit back for. So we really basically popped off for this dumb nigga, and he never even came out to the yard. Anyway, I went to the yard one day and met up with Danny Boy. That was my co-defendant Sam's boy from town. Part of that Young Guns crew, from Queens, and I was doing their Flash from Queens, Sha Sha from Grant. After good work I was done, I got back to our cube, and my brand new white on white Uptown was missing. I seen the dude wearing them, looking tough. I ain't said a word. They had a laundry room, so I went in there, grabbed a handful of Tide powder detergent, took the lock off my locker, put it in 3 socks, acting like I was just gonna walk by this dude. But when he was an easy 6'3", 250 pounds. Seemed like everybody was looking at me back then. So I threw the detergent in his eyes and whipped his ass with that sock and that lock until police tackled me off him. I went to the box and went right back to Auburn the next day. They have 72 hours to serve you a ticket and 7 days to start the hearing. I never got the ticket or had a hearing, so after 8 days I was let out my cell. I want to go right back to the hospital because dudes tried to jump Romeo Bears in the yard. They called this dude Bezarati. That's my boy. He was in Kansaki with us, you know what I'm saying? In the yard. He's a real loud Brooklyn dude. It's my boy, real calm man. I know him since forever. Anyway, the first day in the yard, we throwing blows. He throwing blows right at this side. I'm throwing blows at this side. Frank White leaked over, cut a dude named Leroy. That was real bad. Little ooh-ah ran over once they saw me. Then the whole Harlem court moved, and it looked like a race riot where most of us was just throwing joints. A few got stomped out, some got poked with ice picks, but overall it was basically fisticuffs. Everybody was throwing their hands. They shot the gas in the yard, and they got all of us got 90 days keep line. The majority of us got 90 days keep line. And that's when the steel cage matches began in the keep line cages. Chuck James, aka Big Shot, came from nowhere. Everything he hit fell. He was like my big brother. He was in Kansaki with me back in the days. But I didn't realize how many people I dragged into this by getting involved, but there's his family, and I know you'll do it for me.
You have 1 minute left.
Everyone put down for Key Block Recreation. I was about to reach my conditional release date of 7 years and be released. My daughter's mom brought my little girl to see me on a regular now. My little girl, when she see me, no matter what, she run full blast and leap into my arms, completely airborne, with full confidence, knowing I catch it. I miss that. I used to love that. I used to miss that so much. But anyway, I missed the first recreation that first day in the cages because I had a visit. And I really thank God I did, because Boogie Blind and Papa Stopper, they killed a few dudes in the cages. And Baby from the Bronx, he's the leader and the founder of the Kanye who stabbed the dude up till his arm got tied. They was chasing dudes all up the fence. Dudes was getting caught up in the barbed wire fence and trying to get away from them. Because, blind Papa Stop and Baby, they came out with big ass ice sticks. And it was real nasty. Yeah, I couldn't afford no weapons charges because they would have took good time from me, and I maxed out. And my max was another 3 years because I had 3 and 13. Larry Moe beat up so many people every day. Sergeant Cox told him if he had another fight, he'd go to the box instead of key block. Auburn was a boxing jail with a boxing program, so fights were respected mostly, but Larry Moe hurt people. So he was from Harlem, ex-military, he knew what he was doing. And he was a big boy. And I mean, Larry Moe was like, they call that nigga the heavy hitter, the heavy roller. That nigga he was like 6'3" and just, nigga looked like one big ass muscle. But Harold Konigsberg, that was an old Jewish mobster. He had about 45 years in at that time. Because he allegedly got knocked with a graveyard. He never told nobody. That's how I know of anyway. And later on I found out that he was like the oldest prisoner in the state. He had like 57, 58 years in before they let him go. And he got home to his daughter in Florida, sent me a letter. And it was really his daughter who sent the letter because he couldn't even write no more. He was so old. And then he had passed. It was sad because, Kill was good, man. He came to all my fights. Kill Smitty was, John Smith. He was my corner man and trainer. So boxing kept me out of trouble until I went home. There was dude Kevin Rooney who was to bring professional fighters in and, he used to test their metal against us. And we was punching dudes. But, I was released in like May 1997 after Biggie died. I was sick about that. I went to my sister's house in the Bronx. My grandma moved to Georgia, and I was just waiting for my parole to transfer my parole to my grandmother's house. 2 days before I went home, Stanley Davis came to see me with my sister. This is Wild Al's brother. And, we got to really chop it up, and Rashid was on my mind the whole time. I couldn't wait to get out the gate. Them 7 years was like a billion years for me. And I swear to God, I was like, yo, man, I'm not never coming back. That was it.
How long you lasted?
I lasted 40 days. I came home and was at 40 days. When I was home for 40 days, I went to parole. They arrested me for 13 homicides and 4 attempt murders. They said that I came home and went crazy. How could a man do all that in 40 days? And I went home with a mindset on vengeance, but my nigga, I didn't do all that. That's like too much. That's crazy. And I went home. When we get into the 21-year bid, I'm gonna express all that shit, how everything went down, the trial and all that, who I was with, who maybe my co-defendants was, why certain things went down. And I got the facts on how I had to go to 8 trials for 13 homicides and 4 attempts I had to go to trial on because certain dudes, they just never came to court or the cases died down. But it was nasty, nasty work. Like everything that happened in Harlem within 40 days, they charged me for it. And police was calling me Hell's Last Demon. Like that's the nickname they gave me. It was like, yo, so Hell's Last Demon is home. And I was like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, yeah, we know you did this, do that. And I'm like, yo, listen, lawyer. They was like, yo, you sure you don't want to tell us everything? I said, I'm telling you right now, lawyer. As soon as they start talking that homicide, this, shooting that, shooting this, I was like, lawyer, man. And I ain't gonna hold you. I had a 180-day death notice. Whereas they had 180 days to decide whether they was going to give me the death penalty or not. And all I still have is my grandmother. The sad part, in 40 days, I didn't even see my grandmother. The whole 40 days I was home because parole wouldn't give me, they wouldn't do my transfer fast enough, and they wouldn't give me a pass to go see her. I'm like, yo, this woman just did a whole 7 years with me because let me go see my grandmother, man. So I said, fuck that. And I went to North Carolina to see my brother Chicken Raw's wife, Raina, because she had a problem doing it in Whistle. So I went out there, all the motherfucking bus, wet hammers and everything, just to make sure his wife was good. got out there because the dude that took a Porsche, went to that nigga house, got everything that nigga had on his back, took his daughter chain of shopping, make sure his wife was good. And
you have 1 minute left.
After I got locked up, my man who I took out there with me, he fell in love with Raina and they had kids. But they grown, I ain't had nothing to do with that shit. But the whole thing is I went and took care of this nigga family before I even went to see my grandmother. And I don't understand to this day why my brother Chicken Raw just abandoned me and the family. Like, this nigga don't talk to me, write me, that nigga hasn't came to see me. Now, over 20 years, like since Rashid died, this nigga, and I never did nothing to this nigga. This is my brother. He's supposed to be my big brother.
Hey, yo, make sure you check out that other episode, Shiz Wars in Southport with Sha Sha, you heard? That's fire. Z-Man Suicide Polo with the ski man, the kid with the slave shackle tats. I be forgetting to push my tats and show my tats. My tat game different. You heard? Different. Get at me for them collabs. Get at me if you need that promo. If you love what I'm doing, you already know, feel free to hit that Slash app up. You heard? Z-Lord.